Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, students from Jade class. This is Dr. Michael Omakobia, and today I'm going to be teaching you how we can simplify a complicated surd expression. Okay, so when I see a complicated looking question like this, the first thing that comes to my mind is how am I going to break this question down into manageable chunks? Okay, so this is going to bring us back to our early days of BIDMAS. The reason why BIDMAS is so important here is because BIDMAS, which is the acronym for brackets, indices, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction, BIDMAS is going to guide us in terms of exactly how we should start this calculation. So what do I mean by this? Well, the B in BIDMAS stands for brackets. Okay. So that immediately informs me that I need to focus on the calculation within the bracket for this question. And in the bracket, we have root 63 minus root 8. Okay. So if we remember from our days of doing surds, we know that we can simplify root 63. And we can break down root 63 to the square root of 9. Square root of 9 times the square root of 7. And we know that the square root of 9 is 3. And the answer to root 7 is going to be irrational. So we're going to leave it as root 7. So simply put, root 63 simplifies down to just 3 root 7. So we're going to write this down. We are going to write this down as 3 root 7 minus 8 all squared plus the square root of, we won't say the square root of 63 because we've just seen that the square root of 63 can simplify to 3 root 7. So we're going to say plus 3 root 7 minus 8. And just for clarity, remember this 3 root 7 came from simplifying root 63. And we are not going to forget that there was a square root in the original question. So all of this was square rooted. Okay, so this brings us to the next part of the calculation. So after dealing with what is in the brackets, BIDMAS tells us that we need to focus on the indices. Now we have a very interesting situation where the expression in the bracket is being squared, but then immediately after being squared, that step is being reversed and it's being square rooted. So what does that mean in the mathematical sense? We are reversing that step so we can actually cancel out the impact of squaring and square rooting. We can cancel that out. I'm going to show you how that looks like. So for example, imagine I start off with 8 within a set of brackets. Then I square 8, having started with 8, to give me 64. If I wanted to go back to 8, I will just square root. So the square root of 64 is 8. So this is just a visual representation showing us that if I square a number, but then I immediately square root that number, I'm going to end up with what I originally started with. So with that being said, I want us to understand that the squared term here is going to be cancelled out by the square root. So what does that mean? That means that we can rewrite the next line as just 3 root 7 minus 8 plus 3 root 7 minus 8. Remember, as I said previously, the square term here has been cancelled out by the impact of the square root here. This is why we can write it as 3 root 7 minus 8 plus 3 root 7 minus 8. Now, this brings us to the next bit of our simplification. We have a minus 8 minus 8. So minus 8 minus 8 is minus 16. I'm going to just write that here. We also have 3 root 7 plus another 3 root 7. So essentially, we can say we have 2 lots of 3 root 7. So we have 2 lots of 3 root 7. Essentially, 3 root 7 is being doubled. So we can double 3 root 7 because there's 2 lots of 3 root 7. So 2 times 3 root 7 can be written as 6 root 7 minus 16. And that is our answer simplified. Thank you so much for listening.